Hey everybody, I'm Chase Cushen here with Mohamed Abdelmagaid. I'm a creative here at SAGO and he is our agency director. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about design trends in 2021 that we've seen so far, as well as design trends that we think are going to continue to be prevalent and even get more prevalent as the year goes on.
Yep. All right, go ahead. Let's start.
All right. So first of all, I think it's important when you're discussing design trends to first of all cover color.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really the foundation of a lot of design in terms of indicating emotion and things like that. And so for me, whenever I'm thinking about color, my first inclination is to go to the people I consider to be the color authorities, which is Pantone.
Yep.
And so I did some research on what the biggest, most popular colors are this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so Pantone actually curated their color pairing of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They have illuminating yellow and ultimate gray. And so that's just, a really bright, kind of happy yellow and a really kind of industrial gray.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really does a good job of encapsulating what 2021 is going to be about.
100%. I agree with you. I think it's funny because it also matches the Well-Built Bikes color scheme that we have for the client. It really resembles that part of, we want to push. 2020 was more of a sit down. We couldn't do anything. Nobody was able to do most of the work that they wanted to do in 2020. But the colors now, industrious, energetic, means we're trying to push forward. We're trying to change the situation we're in.
It's very much sort of a rebuilding sort of color pairing. I think that's
exactly.
exciting. They actually have a lot, though, of different professionally curated color palettes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of my biggest advice right now to creatives, first and foremost myself, is I think it's important when you're picking colors to take a look, at least even if you don't necessarily use what they curated, you should take a look at a professionally curated color palette. Because there are people who really study color, who really thoroughly understand color and what goes together with what.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just picking it on your own, chances are you're not going to pick the ideal setup. You're not going to pick the perfect sort of complementary or contrasting colors that will best represent the brand you're working with or the brand you're designing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's really important to sort of, fly by your instruments rather than by sight on that front. Because it's just going to make your work better and higher quality than it otherwise would be.
Yeah, and this is not like to discredit creatives or to take away from, their own way of doing things. Each creative has their own look at a specific design or a specific outfit or a specific whatever it is that they're working on in terms of the color and the color pattern that they're going for. But the color palette just gives you that, I know this is going to be right when I'm doing it because professionals say so. Right?
Yeah.
Just having that there, make sure that you're going through the right direction. You're making sure you're actually putting in the work that you want to do in the correct manner on the colors. But
yeah, absolutely. Sort of moving on from that color thing, I think it's important to also talk about graphic design trends and what's happening now. So if you could pull up the link. Actually, I highly recommend going to 99designs.com. They're through Vistaprint. And it's a really, really high-quality blog. They curated 11 graphic design style trends that will be really, really big in 2021. So I've actually seen a lot of this reflected in alcohol brands. There are different sort of genres. Like if you could go back to that real quick. The other day I noticed I was at Publix and I walked down the refrigerated aisle. And I saw that Bud Light is running a massive campaign where it's like 80s sort of pop comic art. And that's what they have on their beer boxes right now. And in different IPAs and stuff, we see things like symbol revival. We're seeing things like sort of macabre, old, medieval art being posted on these, beer boxes. And it looks really cool. I mean, it's appealing. It's very fascinating and different. And there's sort of this dark but sort of, contrasted a little bit of happy in there, moody resurgence of that kind of art right now.
And basically when we're talking about alcohol most of the time, I think because they maintain a big part of the market in general, they have a lot of revenue, and with a lot of revenue, you naturally have a big budget to work with as an agency. So whoever an alcohol company is usually working with, they definitely have money to put into stuff like that, and that's why you'd see. I know a statistic was like 25% of a restaurant most of the time that sells, if it has alcohol, 25% of the revenue comes only from the alcohol.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a big industry.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they're on the forefront of working the best or making the best campaigns. If we're talking about Super Bowl ads, if we're talking about general ads, billboards, digital stuff, they know how to do their stuff because they have the money to do the research. They have the money to collect the data.
Yeah, they're going to be on the forefront of it, and it's not even totally just the money. It's they have to do that to be hyper competitive.
100%.
You know, in my opinion, alcohol and insurance are the two most competitive fields that drive the most creativity in advertising. If you can think of a major insurance company, you can think of an iconic commercial for them. 100%. It's necessary.
Yeah.
And so, I totally agree. So, you know, for more information on that, I would definitely check out the blog. That'll be in the link. It covers it way better than any of us ever could. I mean, these are art experts. But sort of moving on a bit, that kind of leads me to fashion and where fashion's going, or at least where I see it. Now, I'm not necessarily a fashion guy. I don't really pay that much attention, other than I think it's important to understand the broader trend of design. And so on the one hand, I'm seeing sort of more fancy clothing, more audacious clothing and hairstyles coming to the forefront. I have noticed more mullets in the past 2 years as well on both men and women than I've seen my entire life.
True.
And you know, certain trends fade in and out, but I'm seeing sort of more a fancy, almost like the Capitol and the Hunger Games, sort of,
I would say so,
just out there look with a lot of people. But on the other hand, most of the people I see around, whether it's at school or just walking on the street, they're wearing what's comfortable for them. And I think that's something that hasn't always been the case. I mean, if you look at Victorian England or something, the style was to be as uncomfortable as possible.
Yes.
You know, you would have women passing out because their corsets were so tight, right? But now, you know, with, you know, the evolution of fabric and clothing and stuff, we've got people wearing yoga pants, joggers all the time. My dad's in IT, and, you know, he used to have a dry cleaning bill because it was required that he have, you know, starched collar, this, that, and the other.
Okay.
But now the standard is khakis or jeans and a polo shirt, you know?
Yeah. That's pretty interesting because, you know, if you look at society in general, it's the decrease on, you know, what you look in public, the decrease on how people care when they go outside about their public appearance, basically, is decreased because, you know, being in a free country, you get to do whatever you want, wear whatever you want at any time outside, and that just, you know, pushes us more towards being comfortable. If you can wear anything, if you can do anything, why not do it in the most comfortable way possible?
Yeah.
And I don't think it only stops at clothing and fashion. I think it just, you know, goes into other aspects of our lives, whether it's technology, whether it's you're ordering something online. If something is going to be easier for me to get, if something is going to be more comfortable for me, more convenient for me, that's the option I'm choosing most of the time.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I think that kind of is an indicator of value these days. I think whenever I think of comfort and ergonomics and being on the cutting edge of that, I think of Apple usually.
Yes.
Apple is, you know, the reason Apple is so successful in my mind is because, one, they have the most user-friendly operating system. 100%. Whether it's the iPhone or the iPad or the Mac, they have the most intuitive system. That's not to say they're the best. You know, there's a huge debate about that. 100%. But I do think they have the most intuitive, and it's just so easy to use. And they put a lot of work too into things like the design of their mouse. You know, Kevin is leading a design class right now, and he talks about how beautiful the Apple mouse is. It's just really well designed for our hands. And it's something that you're going to enjoy using. And I think a huge portion of value comes from ergonomics, ease of use, convenience, efficiency. And when we look at big companies like McDonald's, for instance, right? The reason McDonald's is a $147 billion company is because they took a hamburger, which is really, really hard to, I mean, it's not really hard to make, but it takes time to make, right?
I'd say yes.
It can take an hour to put the ground beef together and grill it and this, that, and the other. Boom, 1 minute. Now, it may not be the best burger in the world, but it's there.
Yeah, and just for everyone who doesn't know Kevin is our professor for the class.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But in addition to that, if we're looking at McDonald's, also Amazon does the same thing. You just, it's very easy to pay money on Amazon to the point it's ridiculous. All you have to do is just pick what you want. If you find it's good in terms of reviews, you've asked some friends about it, you just click. It's 2-3 clicks and you have it waiting in front of your door the second day after, right? Of course, people are not thinking about how the workers are being treated, or if it's good service, if it's convenient for me, it's great. I'm happy with it. And I don't think it stops there, right? It bleeds into everything else. And the problem is that means that people may start valuing convenience over actual value, right?
Yeah.
Because as you're saying, Macs or Apple phones, they're really good, right? iPhones are really good. But are they more powerful, and can they do better work than some Android phones today? That's debatable. But they're winning because they're convenient, they're easy to use, and they promote good user experience.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think a good example of that is in the design of furniture now. Mm-hmm. My parents just went to buy a couch. They had our last couch for 20 years, about as long as I'd been alive. And they go to get a new couch, and the furniture salesman's like, yeah, you're not really going to find another one like that. They don't
make them like that.
They don't make them like that anymore. And they're just not built to last the same way. It's built to be comfortable for the moment and to fade away in about 6 or so years. And when the fashion turns over anyway, when most people trade out their couches, and then just roll over. It's not supposed to be durable. Just like
iPhones somehow get slower as newer iPhones come in. So that's kind of concerning, looking at the next few years, and how as convenience starts to look as the most important thing, value will just continue decreasing. You won't actually be able to find quality products in general. No. Maybe that's the case,
No, and things like iPhone, it's been proven in court. That's not just a theory. It's been proven in court that Apple has slowed down iPhones of previous generations deliberately, and they say it's for battery life and all that. We know why.
Exactly.
It's built in or sent out obsolescence, and I think that's a good point. We're going to have to deal as time goes on with convenience trumping all, convenience being the source of value, and it's an arms race for convenience. I mean, going back to the Amazon thing, there are things that I would second guess buying if there weren't the one-click button right there. If I had to actually take it through my cart and go through the process each time, I might not do it. But when it's just right there, just tempting you, you do it.
And you don't feel like you're actually making that big of a purchase when you're going through Amazon.
No.
Maybe the bank account sends you a message, hey, you're paying this amount. That's about it. You just find out that the package is in front of your door, and that's it. You don't feel what's happening because it's so convenient.
Yeah.
It's
and
it's interesting to look forward to.
Yeah, and I think that leads to sort of the broader purpose of design and what we do as creatives. I think that first and foremost, our job is to provide quality, going back to what we were talking 100%. About. But beyond that, the purpose of the quality is to provide convenience and efficiency and value to someone else. And usually that means that you are creating something that is appealing and will serve their customer base. And in turn, that serves their company. And so, whenever someone makes a really, really good advertisement for, like we were saying, beer, right? You're offering someone a holistic experience of what that beer would be like once they buy it, right? Yeah. So you're giving them a sample of the experience of the beer, which then provides something to the company in terms of revenue whenever they do purchase it. And so you provide value both to the customer and to the company. And I think that is one thing that's lost. People a lot of times see advertising as predatory or deceptive or manipulative. If you're advertising a quality product that people wouldn't otherwise know about or wouldn't otherwise feel comfortable buying, like say for instance you had to revamp a cheap brand that people don't necessarily want to try or know about, right? But you promote that and then people try it and they love it. Well, you improved their life.
Yes.
100%. You created a user experience that they enjoyed, and you improved the company, you improved the shareholders, advertising can very much be a net positive for society.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to what we study in advertising, which is you're selling emotions most of the time. You're actually selling the experience, and if you show me that once I get this product, I don't really care about what it has, what the specs are. I want to know how it's going to help me. I want to know how it's going to change my life. And if the ad, commercial, creative, deliverable that you're putting out gives me that experience, shows me that convenience in the product, that's the only reason why I would actually go ahead and put money into it. Right?
Yeah.
And we do, it's something here we focus on as an agency, right? At the same time, of course, we value quality. We continue to make sure quality is our top number one priority most of the time, all the time. But that does not mean that we, disvalue the importance of convenience and user experience when we're creating the ad. We have to think from the mind of the customer. We have to think from the mind of the consumer to know what they're looking for, understand what they're looking for, and make sure that shows in the ad when we're doing it.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about user experience, the father of user experience, Don Norman, has a quote that I love. He says, "No product is an island. It is a cohesive, integrated set of experiences." And I think that's true. I think that, because most campaigns, they have multiple facets, right? You've got the mobile, you've got the television, you've got perhaps a website or an interactive, in-person experience is a big thing too. I mean, music festivals, things like that.
Yes.
The whole user experience is part of the campaign.
100%.
And so I think that as creatives, we need to think more holistically about what we're doing and how it benefits people directly through convenience and ergonomics.
Agree.
So, I feel like we've covered most of that.
Yeah,
Hopefully we didn't repeat ourselves too much.
Yeah.
I know it was good to meet with you today, Mohamed.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing since this is the first episode, we're going to have more people after me, maybe me and other people together. But that's why I'm saying thank you for having me.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's been an exciting journey, definitely. I look forward to getting as many episodes as we can done this semester. And for all those out here, thank you for listening to us talk about design trends. Whether you're from USF or not, we hope you got something of value out of the conversation. For more SAGO content, please visit www.sagoagency.com. I don't know if in the year 2021 we actually need to say www, but
it works. The message got across, I guess. SAGOagency.com, or if you're a USF student maybe and you're thinking of joining the class, most of the time it happens fall and spring. Reach out to us on Instagram DMs. We'll help you guys. Reach out to us on LinkedIn, email, sagoagency@gmail.com. Even go to the website. All these, just contact us from any different platform, and we'll get back to you to help you guys get into this class.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for watching again, and we'll talk to you later.